Hey traders, it's John Fortune here of this week's Weekly Forex Forecast for the 12th of October to the 16th of October 2020. As always, we're going to start off by looking at the US dollar index and crude oil before running through a number of markets, looking at the key levels of support and resistance in the process. I'm also going to be highlighting some of the targets we're going to be looking for in this coming week and also for future weeks. So I hope you're having a nice weekend. Let's jump over to the charts and see where the money is this week. As always, we're going to start off by looking at the US dollar index. Now, last week we were actually looking for further advances to the upside in the dollar index, and we just had one of those weeks where we had a reversal week. It's where the trend itself reverses and the trend structure starts to break down, in this case to the downside. As a result, we do start the week below the 93.67, and this trend reversal in the dollar index last week was also reflected in a number of the dollar pairs. So very simply put, going into this week, we are looking for a pullback towards the 93.67. Any pullback in this area is going to be viewed as an opportunity to look for further declines in the dollar index. We do not trade the dollar index, we're just using this as a compass, as a guide for the dollar pairs. So any correction towards the 93.67 is going to be viewed as an opportunity to look for further declines down towards the 92.41 in the dollar index. And what this means is it means we go into next week with a bearish bias on the dollar index, meaning we are going to be primarily focused on shorting the dollar versus the other currencies, or in other words, we're going to be prioritizing dollar short positions going into next week in the dollar pairs. So the next market we're going to look at is crude oil. Now, last week we saw the dollar rally with that inverse correlation to the dollar. Since crude oil here is priced in dollars, we saw crude oil rally as the dollar sold off. And very simply put, going into this week, we do start the week above the 37.54. We are quite close to the next target to the upside. So what we'd like to see here in this market next week, if we're going to go long in this market and we're going to trade this market, is we'd like to see the market pulling back first to give us good risk to reward setups to the 41.96. Any correction in this area next week in crude oil is going to be viewed as an opportunity to start to look for bullish setups. And if we start to break out to the upside in this market, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance, the upside of the target set, with a 41.96. And if we can get a break through here, we're going to be looking up towards the next key area of resistance, the upside target 2, at the 43.71. The next market we're going to look at is euro dollar. Now we start the week above a key area of broken resistance, looking to turn support at the 1.16780. Any correction down towards the 1.16780 next week is going to be viewed as a great opportunity to start to look for bullish reversals or bullish breakouts in this market. And if we start to break out to the upside and we start to get those bullish reversal patterns in this market, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance, the upside and the target set, at the 1.1919. So next market we're going to look at is pound dollar. Now we start the week above a key area of broken resistance, looking to turn support at the 1.28950. Any pullback towards this area next week is going to be viewed as an opportunity to start to look for bullish setups in this market. And if we start to break out to the upside in pound dollar, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance, the upside and the target set, at the 1.3175. So the next market we're going to look at is US dollar Japanese yen. Now we are structured to the upside in this market. We do start the week above the 105.390, so broken resistance looking to turn support. Because we're structured to the upside in this market, it does mean we would favor long positions in this market going into next week. However, any long positions in this market would be going long the US dollar, short the Japanese yen, when we know that we have had a bearish reversal last week in the dollar index. So this can really be used in two ways, this market. Either you can just leave this out altogether if you only want to short the dollar in line with the near-term reversal in the dollar to the downside last week. Or if you wanted to use this as part of a synthetic hedging plan, you can, which is something we've discussed in previous videos, which just simply means if you were to go long euro dollar, which is going long the euro, short the dollar, if you're long euro dollar, and you're risking 1x to make 2x, let's say, and at the same time you go long US dollar Japanese yen, and you're risking 1x to make 2x, and over in this area, of course, you're shorting the dollar, and over in this area you are going long the dollar. If you're long US dollar yen and long euro dollar, you're shorting the dollar over here, you're going long the dollar over here. If euro dollar were, for whatever reason, to start to reverse back to the downside and you got stopped out on your trade over here, if you were also long US dollar yen and you start to see the US dollar rising against the Japanese yen, you could still make 2x over in this area, leaving you a net positive return on those two trades. So it's just something to think about. You don't have to trade this market if you only want to short the dollar, but this is something we also think about when we're trading these markets, and we do utilize these kind of trades as well into our plan. So it's entirely up to you how you trade your own account, but this is just something you can consider when looking at the US dollar yen when you have this kind of counter setup. So very simply put, going into this week, any pullback, if you are looking to trade US dollar yen towards the 105.390, is going to be viewed next week as the opportunity to start to look for bullish reversal in this market. And we're going to look at initiating longs up towards the next key area resistance, the upside and the target set, at the 106.47. And if we were to get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking up towards the next key area resistance, the upside and target 2, at the 107.02. The next market we're going to look at is Aussie dollar. Now we start the week above a key area of broken resistance, looking to turn support at 0.7130. We've also had a near-term reversal in Aussie dollar last week. You can see this is the near-term reversal here. And this means we are primarily focused on long setups in Aussie dollar. We're coming very close to the target, so we would like to see this pull back without taking out this target first. That would be great, because there's no real trade in this area with this kind of distance between current price and the next target. So what we'd like to see here is we'd like to see a pullback going into next week so we can get some nice risk reward setups in this market. Any pullback towards 0.7130 is going to be viewed next week as a great opportunity to start to look for bullish setups. And if we start to break out and we get those bullish reversals, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area resistance, the upside, the target set, the 0.7253. And if we can get a breakthrough here, or if we just break straight through like this next week, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area resistance, the upside and target 2, at the 0.7367. So the next market we're going to look at is New Zealand dollar. Now we start the week above a key area of broken resistance from the past, looking to turn support at the 0.6580. Any pullback next week towards the 0.6580 is going to be viewed as an opportunity to start to look for bullish reversals. And we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area resistance, the upside and the target set, with the 0.6721. So the next market we're going to look at is US dollar Swiss franc. Now we start the week below a key area of broken support from the past, looking to turn resistance at the 0.91580. This is a nice looking chart. We have really nice momentum to the downside. We have a really nice sell-off, and further declines to the downside are a good possibility when you see this kind of setup in the markets. So very simply put, going to next week, any correction towards 0.91580 is going to be viewed as an opportunity to start to look for bearish reversals in this market. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key of support to the downside of the target set, the 0.9054. And if we can get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key of support to the downside and target 2, at the 0.9005. So the next market we're going to look at is US dollar CAD. Now US dollar CAD is also a nice chart with strong momentum to the downside, and we're really not looking at anything other than short in this market going into next week. What we'd like to see first of all is a correction, a counter trend move back towards 1.33010, so broken support, looking to turn resistance from the past. It's quite a big sell-off, so I don't think it's going to come all the way back and retest, but any correction in this area is going to be viewed next week as a great opportunity to start to look for bearish setups. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key of support to the downside and the target set at the 1.3051. And last but not least, we have gold. Now last week we reversed to the upside in gold just as we reversed to the downside in the dollar index, and we start the week above key area of broken resistance from the past, looking to turn support at the 1886.29. Very similar to Aussie dollar, we are quite close to the next target, so we need to see a pullback before we take this target out, as there is no opportunity for risk to reward setups with this little distance between current price and the target. So any correction going into next week before we take out the target is going to be viewed as a great opportunity to start to look for bullish setups. And if we start to break out to the upside, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key of resistance, the upside, the target set at the 1932.87. And if we can get a breakthrough here, or if we just break straight through like this next week, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key of resistance, the upside and the target set at the 1983.08. So that is it from me for this week, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know by liking, sharing and subscribing. A big thank you to everybody who does that on a regular basis, and a big thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel so far. I want to wish you all a fantastic weekend, and I want to wish you all the best in your trading next week. The only thing left to say is take care and don't forget to trade safely.